Hey, there are so many options when it comes to graduate education for you to tap into. And I want you to know that you don't have to settle. You don't have to make an abrupt decision today. And matter of fact, you really should probably think about this a little bit more in depth and do some assessment work. Like, here's the quick assignment I want you to focus on today. For this moment, as you're watching this video, after this video, I want you to write down, what are my goals professionally and personally? How will a graduate degree aid me or assist me in being able to achieve those goals? That's the place every person thinking about graduate school should start. It's the place that I did not fully think about. I had one goal in mind. I want to become a researcher who is also a dean of students. I wanted to be able to continue in my work, working in student affairs, but I also wanted to be able to contribute to the field in more than just an administrative capacity. I wanted to make sure I was allowing theory to inform practice and my practice to inform theory. I wanted to create research and share the stories of individuals because I'm a qualitative researcher. I can look at some data, but it ain't necessarily my 100% best thing as it relates to being a quantitative researcher. But I wanted to get the narratives out there. I wanted to use visual imagery, videos and photos to be able to capture experiences and allow these experiences to shape the types of things we do when we're working with college students. And I wanted to do that and be a dean of students and ultimately a vice president of student affairs. And look at me now. I am not doing the VPSA or the dean of students role. I'm not actively researching, although I do some writing in collaboration with some folks. But my point is is that I had a professional goal. And this degree that I got from the University of Georgia was aiding me being able to do that. It provided me with the knowledge, with the network, with the resources, with the skill set. It helped to challenge me as a researcher. I came in with very limited experience and knowledge about research. And it was very evident very early on based on the requirements and assignments that we had to submit that I needed a lot of work. I can read an article, I can summarize ideas, I can come up with my own creative thoughts. But being able to do that in an academic setting, to do it in the ways that journals and conference proposals and research-based organizations and conferences needed, foreign language to me. And so I want you to think about, what is it that you're trying to achieve? And can this degree help you to do that? Some of the other things that I wish I would have thought about before I decided to embark on this journey is to really consider not just the goals, but what else out there am I wanting out of my life? If your desire is to get married, can you do both? When I started at the University of Georgia, I had a feeling that I would find a woman that I would one day marry. And I did. First semester, who knew? We didn't get married first semester, but I found a person that I wanted to spend life with and to do this experience with. And she just so happened to be doing the exact same thing, getting her PhD as well. Do you want children? Do you want to travel? What all do you want to do? And can this degree allow you to do that? One of the things that I loved about my experience at Georgia in pursuing a master's and a doctoral degree, not my master's at Arkansas, my PhD at Georgia, was that I got to travel a lot. And let me be honest, how much? Probably 100% of it was on the university. I didn't pay for none of the travel. Maybe initially out of pocket, you go through the reimbursement process, But nevertheless, it allowed me to go to Hawaii. It took me to Canada. It took me to multiple places in the States. And if I had been intentional, and I had one regret, I wish I would have did the study abroad trip when some of my good buddies were going to Ghana. I wish I would have took advantage of the opportunity. I had no reason not to. But other than I just wanted to spend time, hanging out with family and friends. And they were still going to be there, And truth be told, I could have went and did the experience and came back and still saw everybody. Even my wife did a study abroad trip to Haiti for a couple of weeks. And so that is one regret that I had, that I didn't take advantage of a study abroad opportunity, both as an undergrad and a graduate student. So if travel is something you want to do and you want more education, you want to do research, you want to grow your skill sets, you want to become an expert in the area, you want to have a greater impact in your field, you can do both. It doesn't have to be an either or. Another thing that, in hindsight, that I wish I would have spent more time thinking about also is the financial aspect of it. What was I going to need in order to be able to be successful in this program financially? Conferences are not cheap, y'all, especially research conferences, and not everybody is given the opportunity to apply or receive resources of support from their institution. And while institutions often have an expectation that research ones that you will go present your research, that you will submit proposals, that you will write manuscripts, sometimes they just frankly don't provide the resource to help you. So you're doing this all out of your own pocket. And I wish I would have thought about that more. I wish I would have had more conversations with people around, what are these common expenses that you've had to pay for that you didn't know before you decided to start? How many conferences have you gone on and who paid for those? When you were deciding to do your research, did you transcribe it yourself? Did you hire a service? What support services or resources does the graduate school provide? Does the college provide? The school provide? The student government or whatever organization, association that provides additional resources for students? I wish I would have tapped into that. A lot of this I figured out while I was doing it, but goodness, it would have been helpful to note that before. And, another thing I will tell you I wish I would have known was that there's more money when you start. I thought that everybody had to have an assistantship and have a fellowship or grant ahead of time, and that was it. Little did I know, despite all these years working in higher education as an administrator in student affairs, I didn't know about that side of the academic piece. I didn't know that they were still providing grants that came out of the dean's office, that came from different associations and organizations. I didn't have to ask nobody, and nobody was volunteering the information, but it's out there, y'all. If I give you a piece of advice early on, it's also when you're looking at schools, and let's say you're down to your top 3, these are the ones you want. If they have some type of a student listserv, the graduate school or the college or the school sends out information to current students, and they put their information online, as a lot of them do, look at it. Ask to be a part or sign up for the newsletter. Tell them beyond how I'm a prospective student. I just want to look at some of the things that y'all providing students and you share out on your weekly emails and see what information is out there. Part of the reason I was able to travel so much is because I applied for things and got them. I applied for research funding. I got a small grant from the graduate school to fund all the transcriptions from my interviews. I got another grant from the from the college that took care of travel to at least 2 research conferences. I volunteered at some of the research organizations. Let me say it differently. I volunteered at some of the conferences, and that waived my conference fee. You got to get on your hustle and your grind. If you want this, because again, it was all about the end goal. I need this degree. I need this credential to get to this next level. And I need this network. I need this knowledge from these group of faculty. And these are some of the things I want you to strongly consider. Too often, I see people just jumping in. And let me be very clear. This is not limited to Research One. This is not limited to only in-person degrees. These type of resources and things I'm talking about are available at online, for-profit, non-profit, large institutions, small institutions, professional degrees, typical graduate degrees, certificates. It's available. Don't let nobody tell you that money's not out there. Money is available. You have to find it. It is often not going to jump into your lap. I can even share the experience from when I was working at the graduate school at Virginia Tech. We had a program called Diversity Scholars that provided students a money to create a research project or a project to address an issue or area around diversity. So we helped fund the project, and we gave them a stipend for their service, usually typically around $500 to $1,000. And here's the thing, y'all. These students were doing this work anyway, often for free. So now they got the research supported it. They got the notoriety. They got the official university email or newsletter or weekly email to go out to show that they did this work. They're on the website. They got everything to market what they were doing. It made them all more marketable. And everybody who completed it, who wound up going in the job market, got jobs. A lot of times this had an impact on that. We also had Dean's Awards after the fact. The Dean would give out money to students. We had students that might have an unmet need, like say you got $2,000 left on your tuition for last semester and you need some assistance, and you just ask. And sometimes the dean or financial aid or somebody will help find the money for you. So, think about these types of things, but you got to be willing to sit down and assess where you are, what your needs are, what are your goals. Because this often impacts the reason why people don't finish. I tell people all the time, if your why is not strong enough, it's going to be really hard to get to the end. Because when you get that first assignment where it's a 30, you get that first journal article proposal and it says rejected, you get that first paper or assignment and it doesn't come out the way you want, you've been working on this experiment for months and you're still not able to produce or create things to meet your hypothesis, that's hard. So your why has to be incredibly strong. I've seen some of the most intelligent, brilliant minds in the world crumble and never finish. A statistic is out there that 50% of doctoral students never finish their degree. That is something quite interesting to think about. All the processes, all the things you have to do to get in and yet don't finish. Now, I get life happens, but a lot of this is people lose sight of their why. People don't have very clear goals. They didn't ask enough questions ahead of time, which is what I've done in this book, is giving you a set of questions of things you should ask before you embark on this journey. You are not meant to do this alone. You won't get through this program by yourself. And let me be clear on that again. It said, you will not get through your master's, your doctoral degree on your own. You will need the assistance of faculty, of peers, of other individuals who are in school and who are not at school to get to the end. I know you might have been a very resilient person. You're a high achiever. You've done a lot of great things academically. Or maybe you were like me, where you know what? You weren't the best academic student, but you found a way to get to the end. Whatever worked for you in undergrad will not necessarily work for you in grad school. There are components of it. Your resiliency, your ways of approaching studying, thinking about things. Like, you're the type of person who has already demonstrated you can complete one process. So that's there. It's not what I'm talking about. I am saying that the expectation, the types of things you're going to have to do to get to the end are different. If you're used to writing papers that I just asked the students this last week at a presentation, what's the longest paper you've written? The most they said was 15. I said that was literally the first section. That's the introduction of my dissertation. I still got a whole lot more with the literature review, the methodology section, so much more. That's an adjustment. So yes, 15 pages work good for you. Now we up to 30 pages, 100 pages, 150 pages. Or we're saying I need a 4-page summary of these 10 articles with references included and make it concise. And each article was 20 pages apiece. How are you going to produce 3 to 4 pages on that? This is the type of things that graduate education does. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to paint the reality, because I don't think people are being as honest and forthright with folks about what this is like. And that is my goal in graduate education. That's what our mission is, to make graduate education more equitable and accessible. And part of the accessibility is access to information. And part of the equity is to address the types of things that challenge people from not being able to be successful. And a lot of that is financial. So with that being said, I wish you nothing but the best in this process. You should do this. The world needs you. I strongly believe this. The world is not the same if you don't go through this. You won't be the same if you don't go through this experience. There is so much on the other side that is waiting. There's so many things waiting on you that we need you. Show up, apply, start, and finish. And if you got questions, that's what I'm here for. Have a good one.